Tonight, we're stepping into a house where the walls don't just have ears, they have a voice. We're diving deep into music from the dead, a story that really makes you wonder, what if the ghosts that haunt us are just trying to tell us something? So, let me just throw this out there right from the start. What if those creepy sounds in the night, the ones that make your skin crawl, aren't actually a threat? What if they're a message, a desperate call from somewhere else? All right, so let's get our bearings in this spooky little world. The book is Music from the Dead by Bebe Faas, and it came out way back in 1997. It's a young adult supernatural thriller, really aimed at kids between 10 and 14. And these are the kinds of stories that are so important because they're often our first real look at big ideas like fear and courage and what it really means to communicate. This is our ticket into the haunting. But this whole thing isn't just about jump scares. It's about what the ghosts are actually trying to say. So let's get to it and uncover the real heart of this haunting, the ghost's message. So the main idea here, the core of the whole book, is that this ghostly music isn't just there for spooky background noise. No way. It's actual communication. It's like a bridge made of sound, connecting our world to the world of the dead. And the only way you can get across that bridge and figure out what the heck is being said is to face your fear, and you can't do it alone. You need someone you trust right there with you. To really get what's going on in this story, we've got to listen super closely. We're going to break down 5 key quotes that are basically clues, and they reveal the mystery piece by piece, note by note. This is how we start listening through the fear. Okay, so it all kicks off right here. The music drifted through the empty halls, warning them that they were not alone. The haunting begins as a simple alert. It's that primal feeling, right? That sense that you're being watched. It kind of teaches us that our gut feelings, they're often our first line of defense. They're like a built-in alarm system. And here's the turning point. Each night, the strange sounds grew louder until Marnie realized the music was more than a ghostly presence. It was a message. This is that huge shift from just being terrified to actively trying to figure things out. By paying attention, the chaos of the fear starts to form a pattern, almost like a language. It's that aha moment that changes absolutely everything. But you can't decode something like this on your own. Peter gripped Marnie's hand as the notes swelled, their courage tested by the supernatural forces. That one simple act, holding someone's hand, becomes this powerful anchor in a total storm of fear. It just goes to show that having someone with you is a real survival tool. It literally makes you braver when you need it most. This is where we learn the music isn't just an alarm clock for ghosts, it actually has information inside it. The melody revealed fragments of a forgotten tragedy, urging the cousins to listen closely and piece together the story. So the haunting isn't random, it's a puzzle. It's the story of some tragedy that everyone's forgotten, broken up into little pieces, and our heroes, they have to become like supernatural detectives to put it all back together. And this right here brings us to the big finale. Facing the music, no matter how terrifying, was the only way to survive, and that together they could withstand even the voices of the dead. The lesson is clear. You cannot run from this kind of problem. The only way out is to turn around and face whatever is scaring you, with your friends right there beside you. Okay, so what does all of this mean for us, in our regular, hopefully less haunted lives? Let's talk about turning terror into truth and how to pull a real practical lesson out of this creepy story. The main takeaway is actually really powerful, and it's pretty simple. When you're faced with a situation in your own life that's confusing or scary or just plain mysterious, fight that instinct to run away. Instead, try to turn that fear into understanding. And you do that by listening for patterns instead of just bolting. And believe it or not, the book gives us a pretty clear 3-step guide for this. First, you practice pause and pattern. So don't react right away. Just wait, observe, see what's happening. Second, find yourself a courage companion. Get that one person you trust to be your support system. And third, keep a mystery log. Seriously, write down what's going on and then look for those patterns, those recurring themes. This works for anything from a problem at work to dealing with your own anxiety. All right, let's step out of the haunted house for a second and put on our critic hats. It's time for the final judgment, where we look at the book's strengths and, its weaknesses too. So on the plus side, this book does an amazing job building atmosphere. The suspense is just right for its audience, that theme of friendship is really touching, and the idea of music being a ghost phone is super creative. But it is short, under 200 pages, so the characters don't get a ton of development, and honestly, it does follow a pretty standard haunted house formula. So after weighing all the good stuff against the not so good, the final verdict for Music from the Dead comes in at a 6.6 out of 10. Now, here's how that 6.6 breaks down. Content quality gets a 6.5. The theme is great, but the structure is a bit basic. Practical applicability is higher, a 7, because those life lessons are genuinely useful. Writing clarity is a solid 7.5. Research quality is a little lower at a 5, mainly because it relies on common horror tropes. And finally, impact potential gets a 6. It definitely works for its target audience, but it doesn't really break any new ground. Now, if this story left you hungry for more spooky stuff, don't you worry. Let's explore some other haunted worlds and check out a couple of similar books so you can keep this journey going. First up, I absolutely recommend Wait Till Helen Comes by Mary Downing Hahn. It's another fantastic ghost story for this age group, and it shares those same big themes of courage, friendship, and facing your fears head-on. Also, you should check out The House You Pass on the Way by Jacqueline Woodson. It's not as overtly supernatural, but it has that same intense focus on uncovering family secrets and hidden truths. And that wraps up our deep dive into the messages hidden in the music of the dead. If you had fun exploring this with me, make sure you follow and subscribe. There are always more stories lurking in the shadows, and we'll be right here to drag them into the light. So the next time you hear a strange sound in the night, remember to listen. It might just be a story waiting to be told.